Welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel, and today we got some brand new reveals of cards from the Pokemon card 151 set. This is going to be a special set coming out in Japan in June. However, we're probably going to get it later this year. The whole set is just going to feature like classic cards from the 151 Kanto region. It's a lot of really cool cards we're going to get. We actually even got to see the entire Pokemon set list here, which we are going to take a look at here in today's video. We're going to be looking at a brand new Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard EX that got revealed. Of course, we had to get a new Charizard, but having the Kanto starter EXs was a no-brainer if they're doing a set called the Pokemon card 151. We've got a pretty cool couple new items and a supporter card that could be pretty good for the game, so I'm excited to take a look at them here. If y'all are going to go on to enjoy the video, leave a like in the video if you went on to enjoy, and let me know down in the comments below what you think of the new cards that we are going to look at. And if you haven't subbed here to the second channel yet, click that subscribe button down below. Without further ado, let's take a look here. We got Bulbasaur, we got an Ivysaur, then we got Venusaur EX here. Now, Venusaur EX is a 340 HP Stage 2 monster with the ability Soothing Bloom. Once you're in turn, if this Pokemon is in your active spot, you may heal 60 damage from one of your Pokemon. So, the ability ain't too bad. I think it's pretty similar to a Miltank we had back in the day. We had a Miltank that kind of did something similar. It healed, I think, 80 damage. So its ability isn't bad. Healing 60 can be good. Obviously, this could be helpful against decks like Lost Box, where like they'll spit you or they'll try to Sableye you, and then you're just gonna like heal 60 damage from one of your Pokemon. Honestly, not a bad ability as like an anti-Lost Box ability, in all honesty. Also, healing 60 damage makes Venusaur tankier. It's already got 340 HP, so I mean, you can heal yourself, and that's pretty good. So the ability right off the bat isn't terrible. And then we got the attack Potent Whip for 3 energy, 2 grass, and a colorless. So this can work with like Gardenia. Does 115. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned and confused. So right off the bat, you're doing 160 damage with poison. You can do 180 or 170 damage with Sneasler or whatever. Yeah, I think it's 180. My math is wrong. But overall, the attack is just kind of underwhelming. I mean, confusing the opponent isn't terrible. Confusion is okay right now. In our current format, with Scarlet and Violet, being released, not many decks play like heavy switch. Like confusing the opponent could get annoying. So if you compare this with like Spidops EX, to like trap them. Honestly, Venusaur is okay. It's nothing special. If its attack was a little bit stronger, then it would be a little bit better. Its attack is a little underpowered. It's very bulky, though. Again, 340 HP is a lot. It does have a really cool heal ability, so not the worst card ever. Next up, we got Charizard, and, obviously Charizard EX has to be a banger. We can take a look at the Charizard EX here. 330 HP, very tanky. And then we got the attack Resolute Wings. For 1 fire energy, you do 60 damage, and if this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, you do 100 more damage. So, essentially, this Pokemon could do 160 damage for 1 fire if you have damage on. And obviously, there is a way you can do this. You can play Magma Basin. You can Magma Basin a fire energy onto your Charizard EX, and then hit for 160, which is pretty insane. I mean, you're technically going to have 310 HP, but honestly, this attack is pretty strong. 1 for 160 ain't too shabby. And then the other attack requires 4 fire energy, does 330 damage, and then you have to discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. So 330, that's like perfect numbers. You're mostly going to knock out everything in the format. Except for maybe like a few things, but for the most part, 330 damage knocks out like every EX Pokemon, so it is nice that they just let it do like raw damage, which a lot of the Charizard cards do raw damage. Honestly, this isn't even that bad of a card. Now, you could pair this with the Pogo Charizard. You can play this with Armor Rouge to kind of, snowball energy into play for Charizard. So you actually do have a lot of really good partners for Charizard. Not that bad of a card. 2 decent attacks. 4 for 330 isn't bad, considering fire Pokemon do have a lot of support right now in the format with Armor Rouge. I mean, you could play this, like, you could even play this with, like, Arceus V-Star, and, like, use Arceus to put 3 energy into play, and then Armor Rouge that energy onto Charizard the following turn. I don't know, it's just an idea I came up with. But yeah, no, Charizard EX definitely doesn't seem bad. It is a Stage 2. It's not a Stage 1 Pokemon. It's like Charizard VMAX, where it's like, same thing, does 1,000,000 damage for a ton of energy. Charizard EX is a Stage 2, so it's a little bit slower than the, V-Star, VMAX, whatever you want to call it. But you can pair this with Pogozard, since, Pogozard requires, just 2 energy for detonating vortex to one-shot stuff. On top of the fact you can play this Armor Rouge, and if you're going to play it with the Pogo Charizard, you already have, you know, the Rare Candy Charmander Charmeleon in the deck, so that kind of already makes sense to play that. So it's got some pretty good synergy with the Pogo Charizard and Armor Rouge, and I definitely think Charizard EX is good. This is a playable card, which, I mean, not surprising if it's a playable Charizard. It's thankfully not like super busted broken, but it's pretty playable in all honesty. It's not a bad card by any means, and I can honestly see this being a fun one to try out. Next up, we got Blastoise EX. Blastoise EX, pretty cool stuff. I mean, we've seen some pretty cool Blastoise cards in the past. This card does have the ability Solid Shell that makes it take 30 less damage from attacks. So right off the bat, this Pokemon having 330 HP, just going to immediately technically have 360 HP with the ability on top of that. Then we got Twin Cannons. For 2 water, does 140. Discard up to 2 basic water from your hand, doing 140 for each card discarded in this way. So if you just discard 2 waters, you're doing 280 damage. Now, this card is actually kind of okay. I mean, 2 energy is pretty cost efficient. You know, it's not that hard to build up a 2 energy Blastoise. You could play this with like Raihan. You don't even have to play Max Caliber with Blastoise. I mean, you probably should if you can fit it, but the card is pretty decent. You can play this with Shinepow EX to get water energy out of your deck for the attack. You can also play this with like Superior Energy Retrieval and Normal Energy Retrieval to be able to constantly do the 280 every turn. And 280 is like the sweet spot of damage at the moment. I mean, again, you're knocking out V-Star Pokemon. Now, as we do get more EXs in the format, 280 damage might start to get a little bit weaker, other than like on stuff like Miraidon and Tinglu and Shinepow, but we're going to get more EXs eventually, which is going to hurt Blastoise's potential, because like 280 damage is great right now. Blastoise is going to KO a lot of the V-Stars like Arceus, Lugia, but we're going to get to a point where like Blastoise won't be able to one-shot EX Pokemon, so when it comes out, it'll be decent because V-Stars will still probably see play, and then maybe afterwards Blastoise kind of gets a little bit worse. But honestly, not a bad card by any means. Definitely a pretty playable card. I don't know if it's the best of the 3. Honestly, the best of the 3 new EXs has to be Charizard. I think Charizard literally just might be the best one. I mean, Blastoise is solid, don't get me wrong. But I really think Charizard might have been the best of the 3 EXs. What do you think in the comments below? What do you think the best of the 3 EX Pokemon are? Blastoise, Charizard, or Venusaur? I don't know. I think Charizard might be the best, but Blastoise definitely is a close second. Then we got some new items. We got Snatch Arm here. Look at your opponent's hand, choose a Pokemon you find there, and put it at the bottom of your opponent's deck. That's a really unique card. Being able to force something to the bottom of the deck can be kind of annoying. This could be good in like a hand-controlled style deck, even though we haven't really seen hand control in a very long time in the format. I mean, hand control's been non-existent for quite a while, but who knows? Maybe this card revives it. Being able to look at your opponent's hand is always good, too. It's nice to see what they have in their hand, even if this card doesn't make use. But it could be good. I mean, if you're playing against, like, a deck like Lost Box or something where they're, like, holding onto a Pokemon, you can, like, just take it away. Obviously, it's not as good because your opponent can just use Ultra Ball or Nest Ball to get the Pokemon back out, depending on what you're putting to the bottom of the deck. But it's honestly not even that bad of an item card. It's okay. Next up, we got Leftovers. Yeah, Leftovers is pretty good. This is a really unique tool card. So basically, it literally acts like Leftovers from the video game. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is your active Pokemon, at the end of your turn, heal 20 damage from that Pokemon. It's literally Leftovers. Now, it's only at the end of your turn, so unfortunately, it doesn't work going into your opponent's turn either. That would be pretty cool. Being able to heal like 40 damage going back into your turn would be pretty sweet. So it's only at the end of your turn, but it is a really cool tool nonetheless. Again, it's literally like Leftovers. Now, unlike Leftovers, I don't know if there's going to be a deck where this card is going to be that good in. Like this kind of effect in the TCG, you'd have to heal more than just 20 damage at the end of your turn specifically for this card to probably be good. I don't know. It's a cool card, though. I like how it's literally Leftover. Like, it literally plays like Leftovers from the video game. And Leftovers is a pretty good tool card in the video game. I think even, like, competitive VGC players to this day still use Leftovers on their team. But yeah, really cool card. Nice to see them printing unique stuff like this. Next up, we got Erica's Invitation. This is a really interesting card. It's technically a new Gust card. So your opponent reveals their hand. You choose a basic you find there. You put it on their bench, and then you switch it with the active Pokemon. So it's a really interesting way to Gust the opponent. So instead of like just using Guzma to switch, or Boss, which just brings something into the active spot, you have to look at their hand and put a basic on their bench and then switch it. So you have to basically make it so they have a basic in their hand. So obviously not the greatest card ever. I'm not sure this card, I mean, a lot of people are hyping this up right now. I don't know how good this card really is because, one, it is your supporter for the turn, so you're going to play it, and then you're not going to find a basic in their hand, and then you're going to cry. There's not really any, like, way to look at your opponent's hand as easily right now. I mean, you do have the new item we just revealed. Like, one of the only Pokemon I can think of that can look at your opponent's hand, you know, before you do anything would literally be Greninja V Union. You're not going to play Greninja V Union just to, you know, make this supporter card a little bit better. You know what I mean? So I'm not sold on Erica's Invitation, but it is a very interesting card nonetheless. Being able to force something into the active spot from their hand is good. A lot of the time you can forcibly bench something that they don't want. The big thing with Erica is you can force a Lumineon V on the bench and then knock it out. So right off the bat, you get to remove a Lumineon from their hand so they can't use its ability, and you also get to probably knock it out. I mean, this could be a really good card against Lugia, in my opinion. Lugia, you know, already can be tight on space on the bench, and they don't want extra Pokemon on their bench. And I mean, what Erica could do is force it. I mean, against Lugia, it's kind of insane. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you could be in a scenario where you just force Lugia in the active, or like a Serena, or even like a Tyranitar. Your opponent's, you know, exhausted a lot of their single strike energy on a Tyranitar, and they don't have enough to retreat the T-Tar. You could just like Erica Tyranitar in the active and then trap it. So not really that bad of a card. We'll have to see how good this really is. Is it better than Boss? Probably not. I think Boss is still just a better card to play. I don't even know if you want to play like 2 or 3 Boss plus 1 Erica. Like, Erica's an okay card, but I'm not sold on it just yet. And I know there's a lot of hype on Twitter right now. I'm not sold on Erica just yet. It is an interesting supporter nonetheless, and it definitely could be good in the right scenarios. Unless I'm missing something that like makes this card super broken. I'm not 100% sure yet. Anyways, we can look at the set list here. So, or the set card, the cards in the set. So yeah, basically we get to see the entirety of all the Pokemon. It's kind of hard to read everything. Obviously, unfortunately, we did not get scans for every card either. We only just got to see Blastoise, Venusaur, and Charizard. I'm sure over time we'll see the rest of the set revealed. Some things to note: there is an Arbok EX in here. There's an Arbok EX. Hold on, what else was there? We see the Mew. We see there's an Arbok EX, Alakazam EX. There is a Ninetales EX too. We see a Ninetales EX right there. There's a Wigglytuff EX too. You can see the Wigglytuff right there beside Jigglypuff. So there's a Wigglytuff and a Ninetales, it looks like. What else do we got here? Yeah, we see Arbok EX right there. So we see there's an Arbok EX we're getting. There is a, what is that? Is that a, what is that? Okay, there's a mystery Pokemon beside Ponyta. I actually don't know what that is. It's too blur. I literally can't. Okay, I don't know. We'll have to. The Pokebeach already said what it is, I think. But there's another mystery X right there that Is that Arcane? No, we already have an Arcanine. What am I saying? I don't know what that is. I'll have to look in a sec. There's a Kangaskhan EX. You can see there's a Kangaskhan EX right there beside Horsey. There's a Jinx EX, which, I mean, we'll have to see how that goes. There's a Zapdos EX, which is pretty sick. There's Mew EX, obviously. We see the Evolutions. I don't think those are EXs, though. Unless I'm wrong. But yeah, I can't tell what the heck that is. All right, let's take a look so we can actually see what Pokebeach would have said what it is. The 2 Pokemon card 151 file sets will release on June 16th. Does it say what it is? Oh yeah, Pokemon 151 will feature 12 EXs. That is a lot of EX Pokemon to get. Holy moly! You get Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, Arbok, Ninetales, Wigglytuff, Alakazam. Oh, Golem. That's what that was. Golem EX. All right, bet. So yeah, it was Golem. So that's what that card, I couldn't make out what it was. It was a Golem EX. We got Kangaskhan EX, Jinx EX, which is a water type, and then a Zapdos and a Mew EX. That's honestly pretty sick. So some pretty cool and new things to talk about here. I'm excited for this set. I mean, 12 EXs is a lot of EXs, especially as this is going to be one of our sets. I don't know if this is going to be a main set or not. I know this is probably coming out in like the fall for us, I imagine. Like, it's probably going to be like our Pogo set part 2. Yeah, our annual holiday set later this fall is basically when we're going to get that. But yeah, I guess that's it for some of the new cards revealed. Let me know what you think of Erica, Leftovers, and Snatch Arm. Let me know what you think of the new EXs. Do you think Blastoise, Charizard, and Venusaur are playable? I think they're not bad. I mean, all 3 of them I think are decent at best. And then, of course, or at worst, they're decent, in my opinion. I think Charizard EX, again, I think it might be the best one because it's the strongest one. It has decent synergy with a lot of cards. Blastoise EX isn't bad either. Because it does do a lot of damage, and it's pretty cost-efficient, and it's pretty bulky with the ability that it has. So, I don't know. I'm definitely excited for this new set. I cannot wait to see what the rest of the cards are going to get revealed. Again, we've already seen Alakazam and Mew EX, and I definitely cannot wait to see what the other cards do. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see more trainers getting revealed. I don't think that Erica, Snatch Arm, and Leftovers are the only trainers we're getting. I'm pretty confident we're going to be seeing even more trainer cards get revealed and secret rare cards, which are probably just going to be like secret rare cards from this set. But there's definitely more stuff that's going to get revealed in the set over time, and I cannot wait to cover them all because I think the set has a lot of potential to be a really cool set, and it's literally just cards from the Kanto region. So I cannot wait to see the rest of the set. That'll be for me on today's PCG video. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll leave a link down below to the PokeBeach website so you can go check out these articles yourself, and I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.